All right, let's talk about money. A lot of us think that being bad with money is about not having the right spreadsheet or budget app. But what if it's not about skill at all? What if your financial struggles are actually an identity problem? That's the idea we're going to dive into today. This is the core idea right here. It's a pretty bold statement, isn't it? The thought that not respecting your money isn't just a bad habit, but it actually gets woven into who you believe you are. It becomes a role you play, a script you follow day in and day out without even knowing it.
So, when we say identity, what do we really mean? Well, it's not about who you say you are, it's about what you actually do. It's the sum of your daily habits, the thoughts you have on repeat in your head. The source calls it spiritual muscle memory. It's your default setting, what you do without thinking. Now, an identity like this doesn't just show up out of nowhere. Nope, it's built piece by piece, story by story, through a pattern of what our source calls self-abandonment. Let's take a look at how this actually happens. It starts with little moments just like this one. The author tells a story about working at a resort and getting this massive, totally deserved tip. But her first feeling wasn't joy or excitement. It was shame, an obligation. She felt this intense pressure to give it all away, even to people who weren't there, until she had almost nothing left for herself.
And boom! Right there, in that one action, a really powerful seed was planted. A tiny piece of an identity started to form around this single thought. Mine is for the taking. What belongs to me, well, it's really up for grabs for everyone else.
And the pattern just keeps going. Years down the line, a friend takes a phone the author was selling and just never pays for it. Eventually, she even claims she already owned it. And once again, the author was left feeling small and confused, totally unable to stand up for what was rightfully hers.
And with that experience, another layer gets added on top. That first thought, mine is for the taking, gets reinforced. It gets stronger. And it morphs into a new belief. It is okay to take from me. See the difference? It's not just available anymore. Now there's permission. This pattern just keeps repeating. A colleague borrows $500 and takes three years to pay it back, always putting his own wants ahead of his debt to her. He treated her money with a kind of disrespect he would never show a bank because, the identity she was projecting kind of gave him the green light.
But this one ends differently. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was the moment a new voice inside her finally said enough. A decision was made. No more polite requests. It was time to demand what was hers. This right here was the turning point, the moment she chose to break that cycle and finally choose herself. Now, this pattern isn't always so obvious. It's not always about other people taking from you. The source points out a much quieter, more hidden form of money disrespect. It's the story you see everywhere. Women who earn good money but are absolutely drowning in work, at the office and at home, because deep down they feel they don't deserve to use their own money to buy help or make life easier. This is the little whisper that runs on a loop in the back of their minds. It's this deep-seated belief that a good woman just does it all herself, that paying for help is somehow lazy or selfish. And that, right there, is disrespecting your money by refusing to let it do the very thing it's supposed to do, serve you. So here's the difference in a nutshell. The woman with a struggling mindset, she works for her money, and then she comes home and works for everything else too. But the woman with a wealthy mindset, she lets the money she earned work for her, buying back her time, her energy, her peace of mind. And this isn't about being weak. It's about unlearning some really old, really powerful conditioning. Okay, so we've seen how this messy identity gets built. The million-dollar question is, how on earth do you change it? Well, the source actually gives us a really clear 3-step process to make this exact identity shift. First things first, awareness. You just have to start paying attention. Notice when you feel guilty or when you let someone get away with something. Second, examination. Look back at those stories, like the ones we just talked about. See them as data points that reveal a pattern. And third, and this is the big one, action. You take the lessons from those painful moments and you turn them into brand new, non-negotiable rules for your life. And here is the absolute key to making it stick. Just like the old negative identity was built through repetition, the new one is built in the exact same way. Every single time you enforce a boundary, or you hire that help, or you ask for the money you're owed, you are rehearsing a new identity. You just practice it until it becomes your new automatic. So what does that actually look like? What happens when you start living from this new place of self-respect, which, as we've seen, is totally connected to respecting your money? She becomes this woman, a woman who asks for her money back and doesn't apologize for it, a woman who invests in help to protect her own peace, a woman whose decisions come from a place of power and self-worth, not from guilt or some feeling of obligation. This is what our source calls wealth energy. It's a whole different vibe.
And this is such a powerful way to think about it. The message here is that this isn't some fantasy life for other people. This potential is inside you, right now. You are not destined to be a woman who gives until she's empty. You are a wealthy woman in the making, and you're just reclaiming your true identity. And that really brings us to the most important question of all. This flips the whole script. It's not about money anymore, is it? It's about self-worth. When you start to treat yourself with reverence, with real, deep respect, what has to change about how you handle your money and your life? And we're going to end on this really hopeful, really powerful thought. This whole journey of learning to respect your money, it's really the journey of becoming a woman who fully respects herself. And with that woman at the helm, your money, your energy, your future, they're finally safe.